Okay, I've had some folks ask a little bit about where the monster lives and what kind of quarters does he have. And that you can see is the hangar where the monster stays. It's a 60 by 70 metal building. One end of it's got 2,400 square foot of living space that the monster's pilot and his wife lives in. And then you can see all the little accommodations for grandbabies. You can see the zip line up there, and then that old truck there is one we were doing work on, and then you can see the zip line kind of terminating right there where all the 8 grandkids play. And this is kind of like they're around the back, and then this is the concrete taxiway out to the 3,000 foot grass strip. Now we were fortunate enough, I told the Lord years ago that if he ever gave us a opportunity to have a tract of property, I'd buy it and build right in the middle of it and get away from everybody. So he did. He gave us 100 acres, and it was all in these big pines that you see here, and hadn't been cut in almost 30 years. So we thinned the whole 100 acres and then clear cut. It was about 8 acres that gave me a 3,000 foot grass strip. That's it there. And we built the metal building. This will give you a view of the side down there. And then, like I said, ain't nothing fancy about it. My life's been about aviation, and if you know, I don't really worry a whole lot about what other folk think about the living quarters, but the monster and his crew are very happy with it. But this is kind of like what you see up under here for the monster's quarters. This is where all the experimenting and all goes on, and we've got back in the back are all the tools and the area where we do the experimenting and figuring out different things to do on the monster and to make it work. And again, this kind of gives you an idea of what the monster lives in and the accommodations. And every afternoon it goes out for about 4 hours of playing. Now that's not 4 hours all the time in the air, but a lot of times it is. But most of the time it's usually about, I don't know, a little over 3 hours. I spend some time usually sitting on a sandbar and just contemplating life and enjoying myself. But this is just a video, kind of shows you that's the back door into the house, the living quarters, but this kind of gives you an idea of what it is. And then we also got a 55 foot long by 14 foot opening with a Schweiss bifold that shuts everything out at the end of the day's playing. Okay, folks have asked me what it's like when I get the monster out and get ready to go. I've obviously got it already rolled out here just out of the hangar, and I'll kind of give everybody a little idea of how my procedure. I always had to turn my fuel on. My fuel switch is right down here. Then I make sure it's always on full. And I have forevermore on all my airplanes, especially my aerobatic airplanes, high compression engines, I always pull them through. If it's the first start of the day, I always pull them through 8 blades. That gets all 4 cylinders completely through 4 times. And then if it's got an updraft carburetor, which this does here, then obviously it pulls some fuel up into the carb. It makes it start a little easier. But anyhow, it especially important during the winter time, also builds a little bit of oil pressure. They used to do this in the old World War radios. They'd do this and it'd make them easier to start, and they'd be oiled up already. Here we go. And then we turn on everything. Go ahead and get everything fired up. Get the spot running. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put the phone up. And let's see here. All right, and then I plan to be spending some time playing on the river today, the little river, water skiing. So I'm going to turn my water bugs around and get them situated to be used. Let's see here. belts on. Get the headset on. Okay, folks, well, I hope you've kind of enjoyed the running narration of what it's like at home base. This is obviously, now we've powered up, going to be too much noise to be able to hear what I say on the GoPro, so this is where I'll just start the narration. But we're climbing out here, and my strip is 3,000 foot grass and bordered on one end by a paved road, which we took off from, and then the other end down there is got a dirt road at the end of the 3,000 feet. But anyhow, we're turning out crosswind here and gonna go over my neighbor's cow pasture. And at the end of this video, I've got some landing that I did on a sandbar. So if this doesn't interest you here, this part of the video, you can always fast forward, get to the end where I did a sandbar landing, and got some cool photos of that also. But so we're coming on the left downwind here for the same runway we just took off from, and you can see coming up here in just a second, you're going to be able to see an aerial view of what it looks like looking down the runway there. And all the trees to the right of the runway is our place. We were fortunate enough in that the Lord gave us that 100 acres. And so anyhow, but that pretty much wound up that tour, and we're now on the river playing, and you can see that bar right there is the one we're fixing to get on. And it's I'd say it's probably going to be 350, 400 foot usable run out. There was mud at both ends, and I don't usually play in the mud, because if I do, unlike the tractors, all my tires, when they get mud on them, it slings it up not only on the wing, but occasionally it'll sling it sideways a bit and get into the prop. And then when the prop hits that mud, it slings it into the fabric of the airplane and knocks holes in it. Believe it or not, the protective leading edges, it doesn't cause a problem with the prop itself, but it sure does eat up my fabric real bad. So I stay off the mud, especially fresh mud. But anyhow, we're slipping in here, coming down to get into the channel of the river, and kind of was on a left base there, and we're going to be turning here for a curvy short final and getting lined up, and I'm probably getting on the second notch of flap right there, and then I'll usually get the last notch of flap on short final. And this is, boy, it's a cool approach into this little strip, and I really like it. But you got to be on your P's and Q's for your directional control. You get in trouble in a hurry. Not only the water, but it's really rough on the left side of the landing run out. But that pretty much wound up that, and I've got some videos here after I'd gotten on the bar for a while. I took some good shots and doctored them up a little bit on my edit on my phone, and boy, those are some cool pictures. I think it's a pretty place. But anyhow, we've already gotten mounted back up after about 45 minutes of sitting there, and I kind of power up and taxi down here. And this, even though that the sand there looks a little brown, it's pretty much dried up. It wasn't wet mud, so it wasn't a problem. We picked the tail up right here and immediately go to full power and start the takeoff roll. And on the takeoff roll, like I say, it wasn't too bad, but you got to really control your directional control here, because you ain't got no options, and you better be up by the end there. You're going to go swimming. But then after that, we do a little climb out, and on the climb out, we just are basically just looking and taking things in. But covers that take off from the bar, and here I am back at the house, and thought I'd put a video up showing what it looks like whenever I'm coming into land. I actually was coming in kind of from the northwest today. You can see the strip over on the right, and that's home base, folks, and that's where the monster lives and stays. And I've been very fortunate. Like I said, whenever I was posting about the takeoff video, the good Lord's been good to me in regards to providing me with a place to play, and I'm a very content fella. You know, the old commercial that talks about, you know, certain things being, you know, a blessing here, there, and yonder, but then the big pinnacle is priceless. Well, to me, living on my own private strip and having my own place kind of isolated to myself, well, it's just priceless. I can't put a number on it. But anyhow, I'm fixing to turn left base for my little runway here, and got a few neighbors about. Not a problem. I've over the years gotten really good reception from all my neighbors. I was here first before all these folks you see, and so, you know, it's kind of hard for a neighbor to move in and complain about an airplane. But then again, most of my folks, they enjoy seeing me fly. It's not like any of them ever complain or have a problem with my flying. As a matter of fact, most of them are asking when I'm going to be flying so that they can be out and kind of take it in and see what's going on. But here we are on short final, fixing to kick in a little bit of a slip to get down, and got plenty of runway, but I always like to get down as soon as I can over the trees, pull the last notch of flaps on, and then just kind of drag it all the way up the hill in slow flight, and I can get the speed down pretty good whenever the winds are right. But so I'm just riding it back up the hill, and I think I just put down right there, and you can see I'm going to taxi up to the top of the hill. And you'll also notice I've got a, well, nope, there was a touchdown. You'll also notice I've got a hangar right there on the left that I use whenever I have friends coming. We can't get somebody's plane in my hangar at the house. I can put 2 full-size planes in my hangar at the house, and then one out there in that hangar if needs be. But this is my little taxiway up through the trees, getting up into the house, and taxiing up here and getting ready to shut down for the evening. I'd actually, I think the GPS had already kind of switched over to night mode. It was already getting pretty late in the afternoon. But folks, that about covered it. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Thanks.